Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Killjoys. A lot of things went down this episode we got to break down bit by bit. So, first off, there's a whole fact is that Jack has to go with his mom. And I love how Dulcea is very pissed about the whole Jack situation. She calls him Jack Osmond and just kind of just being a little picky and a little petty about it. And he's just like, yes, ma'am, so... Because it seems like, and I guess I'm not too surprised. I kind of figured it had to have something to do with Anila. Like, that's what she's been doing this entire time. She's been going to all Klein's, like, safe houses so that she could find out more about a way to try and get Anila out of the green. So, for now, like, they need Jack to go with her once again to keep him safe. And you have Daff having that moment of just kind of being like, oh, I'm packing your clothes. And he's just like, Dad, I was just getting used to, hearing you call me that. It's just like, he's trying everything he can not to cry. And even like, Dutch is telling Jack, it's like, be easy on him. He may be big and tough, but he's still a big marshmallow on the inside. And it's so cute and adorable. It's sad because all the stuff he has to do to protect his son, and he can't even be with his son. And just like, fatherhood hit him that hard, and it's so cute and adorable, so I'd love to get a peek into that whole situation. Dulcea kind of raising Jack by herself, no Jacoby or Dutch interference, to see what that'd be like, because she'd probably try and teach him more of the Crushy side of things, which is interesting because she talked about going back to the 9 and stuff like that, but for her, it's like she's not going back to the 9 until she has her queen by her side. And then it's like, then she's really going to like flip shit upside down when the time comes, but she needs the woman she loves by her side, so that kind of makes sense. But essentially now Team Awesome Force is back because now we got to rescue the kids, because rescuing the kids also means getting that green off the rack. And like, you have that conversation between Turin and Dutch about her being like, oh, how much he's kind of changed and stuff like that, because he's like, yo, I got my squad, but that's just like, no, leave it to the best. It's like, the fact of the matter is, this is their home. They've been ready for this fight. Let them fight this fight. And, also I love the whole celebration. The moment Team Awesome Force gets back, everybody's clapping like, yeah! And then you have, like, Turn being like, just because he has to be the asshole, you're late. But the fact of the matter is, like, he's, because she talks about the fact is that he's changed and everything, because, like, Turn actually cares. He actually has a heart now, because he's like, this is our home. We got to fight back to take it back. And then she's like, oh, I could kiss you on the forehead right now. He's like, you better not, or I'll kick you in the box. Which is so weird that they, once again, it's like, I kind of forget that Syfy could get away with some of the stuff they do, because I'm like, wow, you literally had a line like that. Okay, that's interesting. But when it was all said and done, sadly Weege died, which I'm like, oh, that's especially because it's like, Turns like, you're my guy, Weege, and Weege is like, I'm your guy, hits that barrier and explodes. I'm like, that sucks. It's like, no, we just started to like Weege. Things are good. Turn had someone he could bounce off of. It's like, no, that sucks. I was hoping he'd be around for a while, but nah. It seems like the barrier was designed to keep out any, like, the undercover Killjoys. It could register that they weren't Holland, so the ship was destroyed with all those Killjoys on it. And Weege too. That sucked. And even had Dutch been like, sorry about, you losing your Weege, and Turn just kind of like, shut up and just bring those kids back home. And it's just like, you can tell he's a little heartbroken. You're like, oh, that sucks. Because like, that's the first person he's ever really gotten close to or kind of cared about in all of this. I mean, he cares about everyone. He cares about his people. I do love that them joking about, yeah, like, you're kind of the boss in a situation. Yeah, more like a figurehead. And he's just like, yeah, when it's all said and done, I hope you all know that you're all fired. But, I mean, all this while, it's like they're trying to get that the regressor, which is such an interesting thing. Basically, it lets you, like, they're modifying it because basically it can tap into, like, mitochondria. So it's like, basically, Johnny wants to use a device to tap himself into the shield to kind of talk to it in a sense, which is like crazy to think about. But like, and I do love that when he does tap into it, it does give him this almost high. He's like, oh my God, yes, this is amazing. And then you have Turn being like, dude, keep it in your pants. And even like Zeph is like, I'm trying to keep you alive because like a prolonged exposure to this thing will kill him, cause seizures and stuff. So while that's happening, there's a whole situation about the symbols being carved into Dutch's back, what that's about, and Johnny also being pissed because it's like, yeah, I'm fine with there being a you guys, sure, like, oh, you guys doing your thing, it's fine, but like, no more secrets between us. I mean, enough of that. I mean, there's the whole you guys begging us stuff, but it's like these walls are thin enough already. So, but it's like, yeah, I didn't realize they had kept that from him until he's like, it's like, man. It's because they don't want to worry Johnny, but it's like, no, we're in this together. Don't try and sugarcoat stuff. But it does make, because I think because the whole Dutch and Dab thing is kind of a constant on and off thing, but now it's probably more so a full on thing now, because now Johnny's like wondering where he fits in all of this. Because it's like, if I'm going to be a third wheel in any situation, of course it's going to be with these knuckleheads, but, it's like, where do I fit in all of that too? I wish I had someone to ride shotgun with me beside all this. And, Lucy's like, I'll be that, I thought that was us. And he's like, yeah, always and forever, girl. And I'm like, like, I think legitimately, I mean, it's already happened in the show, but if we can make that a more permanent thing, put Lucy in a humanoid android body or something, that'd be golden, especially with Johnny's already weird obsession with like robots and androids and stuff like that anyway, like machinery, like it's a weird thing for it anyway. Borderline sexual attraction to it stuff anyway, so it's kind of like it worked out, especially if it has Lucy's personality and everything that she is. So probably won't ever be like that. It'll probably just always be a thief in his ship, well, not his ship, but you get the point. So there is that. Then there's the whole Pip and Zeth thing. It's like, oh, we need to think. And it's like, oh, that's that. It's like, we need a room for thinking. And Zeph and Pip are thinking very, very hard. It's like, oh my God, this is so weird. But that helps her keep thinking. And she's like, no, still no idea. She's about to go for another round. He's like, just little Pip needs a little break from thinking, from the thinking cap. So I thought that's kind of neat. But we also got a little bit of bonding between them two, because we learned a little bit more about Zeph. She's kind of referenced her past a little bit this season, about her like where she comes from. Like the fact is, like coming from like a farming family, the whole like, she says her sister's being sold off like cows and her being shunned from her family. It's not something she really likes talking about, but Pip is like, that this is kind of hard for me too, because I guess it's because, relationships probably aren't something he's really all that experience with either, but it's kind of like, we'll go to the middle ground. And she's like, I can live with the middle ground. So and like them snuggling up together. It's like, this is so cute and adorable. But basically the plan is to, sneak onto the ship, rescue the kids, and get the grain. It's pretty nice that they basically, using the cube, they ended up jumping the green off of the ship after they tracked it down. Same thing applies to like saving the kids. I also love that this entire situation included Fancy and Davin making a game out of this. It's like the first one to kill the most Holland wins, and the prizes are either Davin's gun if Fancy wins, and if Dav wins, Fancy's ponytail. Which is, I was kind of aiming for that, because I was like, oh, that'd be kind of interesting, like he's forced not to have a ponytail anymore. That'd be interesting. But yeah, like legitimately under serious circumstances, but it's kind of like, that's par for the course for the show when it comes to situations like that. And I love Pip trying to be the hero, because he's like, yeah, I can be the hero sometimes when it comes around to being you, but it's like under these circumstances, it's a good cause. Like, we're trying to rescue these kids, get the green and stuff. So I want to be able to, like, prove that I can be a hero in other situations. Got stuck with Dutch, who is like, yeah, Dutch isn't really the biggest fan of me now. Yes, she understands the circumstances, but still. So when it's all said and done, they rescue the kids. But everything going down, like the green being removed, kind of restarts the rack ship. The whole system kind of had to reboot to kind of calibrate for the shield going down. And so now the Holland had more control over like the main cannons. It would have been obliterating all of them. Everyone's deciding that they're going to stay behind, but Pip is like, nah. When whatever rises from the ashes from the rack is going to need Killjoys like you. And he points to, to Fancy, its designated asshole. He's like, me, on the other hand, at least I can do some good from this situation. So I'm like, dude, no, Pip. Because also for him, it's like, and he says that line, it kind of breaks your heart even more because he's like, Zeph will never forgive herself for like not being able to save me, but she will forgive the fact is that I was able to save you guys. So, and it sucks, dude. And just like kind of send off from everybody, Fancy kind of nods his head. He's like, right, you're not a hugger. Yeah, that kind of fits with, who you are and everything. And so when it's all said and done, the conversation between him and Zeph, she couldn't say what she wanted to say at the end, but he was like, it's okay. I know. The fact of the matter is, like, he's kind of like, she's like, Dutch will get you off there. She's magic. She's like, but you're a scientist. You don't believe in magic. She's like, I will if it means bringing you back. I'm like, oh my God, no. Legitimately, stuff like that gets to me. I'm like, dude, that sucks. And he's just kind of like, meet me in the middle, and the ship blows up. I'm like, that sucks, dude. That sucks so much, Pip. I was like, because I like Pip, dude. Dude, his circumstance, that sucked. Because I had a feeling when it was all said and done, I didn't think Zeph would be able to save him, but I didn't expect it. But for him, like, I don't think there probably would have been a way to save him. Maybe there would have been, I don't know, but he didn't, it wasn't just about saving Team Awesome. It was also about saving, everybody, and he made a great sacrifice. It sucks. And Zeph it's going to be a while before she forgives Dutch. Because for her, it's like, you know why people like Team Awesome Force so much? Because Davin will take the bullet, Johnny will fix you, and you will always bring people back home. But it was your job to bring him back home, and you didn't, So she's pissed that amongst anyone is Dutch. Because Dutch's thing is always, we bring people back, and she didn't. She failed in that department. But it's just kind of, it was Pip's choice and everything, but still, like, there was no time, there was no other way, and it's just, it sucks, It's just kind of like, she had to lose the man that she loved, even, because I'm sure also because even though he said, it's okay, I know, I think still not being able to say the words she probably wanted to say was probably, it's one of those things that will probably hit you harder, like not being able to say what you want to say, when the time comes. So that regret probably is there too. So Zeph is kind of backing away from everything. Definitely Team Awesome Force, in particular Dutch, but I think she's kind of backing away from this whole thing just because she needs time. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of messed up, but interesting when you actually break it down and think about it. This same episode 9 last season, we lost Alvis, so it's just kind of like, man, which is also interesting too. This show isn't afraid of it's like, oh, like all your characters that you come to know will like come through, but I feel like the first major character death for me personally was Potter. That was the first one that really hit me hard, so this has kind of got that same feel to it. I mean, it's kind of sad because when it's all said and done, Johnny doesn't kind of get his happy ending in this, in that same regard, neither does Zeph, so that's sad, man, when it was all said and done. So other things that went down, they ended up kind of doing the same thing that Klein did to Anila, removing part of her brain. All three of Team Awesome Force does the same because they can't let anyone know where Jack's location is. So if they don't know, they can't be forced to tell anybody, which is so sad because for Dav, it's like, how many more, Jack made me promise I wouldn't forget him. And it's like, how many more promises will I have to break to protect him, And then on top of all that, now we have Dutch doing what she did because she figured out what Anila was trying to tell her. And basically, I assume she basically drinks some of the green into her body. And so it kind of fuses with her. And it kind of, it looked like it was green plasma from what I could tell. Was basically because of that, it gave Anila a jump point, and now she's in Dutch's body and Dutch is in her body inside the green, because it's they need Anila on the outside because I guess also Anila's control of the green. I wonder will that translate through Dutch's body. I'd assume if it's Anila, which is going to be weird. It's luckily Delcea's not kind of roaming around because that'd be kind of an even weirder complex situation all on its own. But I'm kind of excited about that because it's we didn't get to spend a lot of time with Anila as a good guy, so it's gonna be interesting seeing her interacting with Team Awesome Force and with the what remains of the rack and stuff. And it's oh man, that's going to be crazy. Let's not forget, because next week's episode is in fact the season finale, so I'm very interested to see how this whole plan of attack works. I'm curious to see what Dutch does on the inside. You know, they still got the spore situation because they learned a lot about it because of research that Del Seiya kind of pieced together, and even Johnny. That's a lot I should talk about too. I forgot about talking about that. It's the whole thing with Johnny where he's kind of like he sees how hurt Del Seiya is, and is like, I've wanted this look on your face ever since you killed Potter, but he's like, I promise. I'll get Anila out, which technically they have, but like I said, they're trying to keep away from Jack and Del Seiya. Not unless we have a situation where Anila's like, oh, I gotta see Kendry. You know, it's like we might see a situation like that, but you know, I'd be so curious to see them interact. Like I'm going forward. I don't know. I kind of get the inkling like one of them isn't going to survive this. I get the feeling like Anila, because I think they're probably not going to have like both Dutch and Anila like running around. It'd be pretty cool if they did. Like we'd see that in the future, but I don't know if that's something they would do or not. So I feel like either they're going to like, I get the feeling like when it's all said and done, Anila's going to disappear at the end of the season, or maybe they're going to fuse and become one permanently or something like that, which would make the whole her and Davin and Anila and Del Seiya situation even more complicated than it already is. Like that, just like I said, this whole family tree thing is messed up with everything that's going on between all these characters. So, but like the thing I'm curious to see about is like the interaction between Anila and Jack, because they're both kind of anomalies in their case, because Anila has power over the green like no one else, so she's kind of a specialty, and Jack's got abilities too, so it's like those two are kind of kindred spirits in that regard. So I'd be curious to see how, I mean, because technically Anila is also his mom too. She plays kind of like mom slash aunt. Once again, like I said, the dynamic of this whole family thing is, the family tree is kind of crazy. So like I said, I'm very interested to see what the next episode, well, the season finale has in store for us when it comes to all of this. So, but really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.